Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wareham Town of Selectmen's meeting of September 30th, 2014. Anybody has a cell phone on, do me a favor and please turn it off. Thank you. Roll call.
Roll call. Let me get a little closer to the mic. All 5 selectmen present, as well as town council and the town administrator.
Next, we have announcements. I'd like to stop for a minute before we have announcements and make mention that we lost one of our police officers who's been sick for quite a while, Paul Fugel. He's about 53. He just passed away on the 28th, and I believe several people would like to say something. Mr. Sullivan first.
No, go ahead.
This was a statement from Police Chief Walsh. It is with deep regret that the Wareham Police Department announces the passing of retired Officer Paul Flugel, whose courageous battle with cancer ended on the morning of Sunday, September 28th. Paul's personality, perseverance, and spirit he displayed for over the 27 years at the Wareham Police Department will never be forgotten.
Thank you. Mr. Tropiano.
I knew Paul for a long time. Paul was one of the good guys. Unfortunately, he lived in Mattapoisett. I would have preferred that he lived here because he was such a great coach. I coached with him and against him over the years in baseball. And he put everything he had into his children and into his teams and even into this town when he was here working. He was a terrific, terrific guy, and he's going to be sorely missed. And it's really sad that a man of this quality has to leave so early. It really is. But he was a terrific man, and I liked him a lot. I just want you to know.
I would ask everybody to bow their heads in a minute of silence for this as well. Thank you. Okay. Announcements, Mr. Titlebaum.
I don't have any this week.
Mrs. Whiteside.
Thank you. I have several. The flu clinic, which was scheduled for October 2nd, has been rescheduled for Thursdays from 9 to 10:30 in the Multi-Service Center, room 106. No appointment is necessary. I want to thank the musicians who, through their donations last week, were able to collect $500 for Damien's Food Pantry. It's a very worthy cause, and lots of people, unfortunately, have to use it. The Buzzards Bay Coalition and Wareham Land Trust have 3 separate programs that are free. Friday, October 10th from 5 to 6, Muddy in the Marsh. Learn how to do crabbing and figure out what's living in the marsh at the Lyman Reserve on Red Brook Road. October 17th from 5 to 6, these are all Fridays, make your own fishing pole at Horseshoe Mill, the end of Station Street in Wareham, up near Deacon School. Friday, October 24th from 5 to 6, orienteering scavenger hunt at Tweedy and Barnes, Blackmore Pond Road. You need to register, but you can, again, look online. I want to remind people that there is, in fact, a leash law in this town. It is, in fact, enforceable. You are not supposed to have your dogs off-leash any place except on your own personal property. Bless you. Oakdale Playground rebuild and cleanup is this Sunday from 10 a.m. on. There's going to be a special occasion at 11 o'clock, so Mr. Tropiano, I think, is shepherding this one, and it'll be a great time. I want to thank the Municipal Maintenance Department that has already put up some new signs and did some brush cleaning. And finally, November 7th, there will be another murder in the library. If you are really eager to be in the play, and I'm looking for victims, please email Cilla Porter at CILLA02576 @comcast.net. It's a murder mystery. It's similar to the one that we had last year where we had such wonderful actors and actresses. That is, you can get my I'll talk to you later. November 7th, it is a benefit for the library, and I hope to see you all there. And I have asked some of you, and I will continue to look for the players.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. First, I drive around, as most of you know, for the last year, targeting businesses, local businesses. And again, I want to just commend every time I take the drive, and I actually have a little chart. I can actually now, I have dots on my chart that when I hit the Sunoco station where the car wash is, and you're coming on Cranberry Highway, one side is the car wash, the other side's the Sunoco, right? And then you got Subway. So I actually have a chart, and my dots are really filling in. People have really taken the challenge to clean up their businesses, to clean up in front of their areas, to put up a fence, to do a little paint, to clear some brush. And Cranberry Highway is really starting to shine. Because, we have a lot of money that's about to be spent out there once they can get all these easements done. And all the work that these businesses are doing, I want them to know that the townspeople support them, and I certainly support them sitting behind this table. Having said that, we are getting into October tomorrow, and again, I urge the citizens to support those local businesses, especially in the off season, because a lot of them really struggle once we get into November. And the third thought on the calendar this year is, I'm not sure what the insanity is about, but it seems that 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, when we had Labor Day, we all went nuts here in town. Something's happened. The speed at which we're driving is insane. I know there's no traffic around, and maybe that's given us license to hit the gas pedal. But, we've had some serious car wrecks. I had to call, I could never be a policeman. My heart couldn't take it. There was some lady who almost killed a bunch of us the other day, and I'm on the phone trying to call the police department, trying to stay with her. I was doing 85, and she got ahead of me at least a mile. That's how fast she was driving through Wareham. And they grabbed her. They were waiting for her when she got off the exit. But please slow down. I mean, there's nothing that much of a rush. But speed and driving and texting and the coffee drinking and the cigarette smoking all at once, it's not a good combination. So please, please, please slow down and be careful. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Tropiano? I have a few things today. We have a bill with the House and Senate on the additional liquor licenses. I'll just read from Senator Pacheco's aide, Mary. The bill was reported from committee last Monday, has been placed in the orders of the day. I love these different terms. Meaning that the Senate Council is in process of vetting the bill. We have a call in to them to see how far along they are. I'll send you an email when we get an update, just to give everybody a heads up that we are keeping after it. Mr. White has his coffee hour, October 2nd, which is Thursday, 9 a.m. Mel Lazarus, who is also a school committee member, is going to be talking about his recollections from a previous life in the jewelry retail trade business. Should be interesting. They'll be meeting at the community room at Redwood Village, Church Street, Wareham. Again, 9 a.m. Cranberry Coast, I'll read this as quickly as I can. They'll be coming up before us shortly. Friday, September 26th. That's already gone. It's 28th. Passed. You can give us an update on ones you have then when you come before us. There's been a couple calls into Town Hall, Building Department questioning the Glen Cove Hotel on Onset Ave about the elevator shaft being out over town property or blocking the sidewalk. I just want everybody to know that we went and checked into it, just to give everybody a background. The elevator is being put up there because that is a ADA compliant requirement for handicap for what they're gonna do there. Therefore, there are certain bylaws like setbacks that are basically voided out, very much like 40B. The actual layout, which we have here, they have exactly 5 inches of room from where the outside of the cement wall is to put wood into, and wood encase it. So they will be within the legal bounds. So anybody with questions, the answer is it will be completely legal, and it fits all the requirements of the state. Will not be on town property. Last thing, we've put out requests for citizens to pick areas to be responsible for litter. We've had 3 so far. I'm going to start working on the next couple of weeks, but again, I'm looking for more people. We have someone in Onset, someone basically in East Wareham, a little area, and another area basically on Great Neck. So I'm still looking for people to contribute. And that's all I have today. Next will be
Citizens participation. Anybody here to speak to us?
Stevie, I think you have to come up for yours because it's not as an agenda item. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on down.
Hi, my name's Steve Berenger. I'm here from Stevie B's in Onset. And the reason we're here today is we'd like to give 2 checks to the school. We had the first week in August, a good friend of ours, Melissa Drake, passed away. And we wanted to turn something lousy into something great. She was an educator in this town for over 34 years. And a lot of people knew her and cared for her. And it showed on the 20th of September when we had a fundraiser there, a memorial for her, and a lot of teachers and a lot of neighbors and a lot of friends and a lot of people showed up. And today I'm very proud to present our schools with 2 checks. I have a total amount of checks for $7,571 in total.
Very nice.
And I would like to, 1 check to go for $500 to the Deacon's School for a new sign, towards a new sign. And then I would like the other check that's for $7,071 to go towards technology for the children of Wareham. Thank you very much.
Okay. Got the newspaper.
You can borrow mine.
I have a lousy camera, but with a good looking roof like that, it'll work out.
I was at the event on Sunday. There was a huge crowd of people. I'd like to thank everybody who participated. It was a really great show. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else for citizens participation? Come on down. Mr. Russell.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm not sure if this issue has been brought before the Board of Selectmen as of yet, but I understand that the group that is presently been holding meetings of at the gymnasium or the basement of the town hall has been given notice to be vacate in 10 days, and so that their meetings of Saturday morning? That notice was not given?
Actually, we asked them to come meet with us to speak about putting together a lease agreement, and if not, they would have plenty of time in which to move on to a different facility.
Okay, I was given notice that they was expected to vacate as of this Saturday, and they was almost expecting to hold their meeting outside on the lawn.
Miscommunication.
Okay, then I'm very happy I was able to get that squared away.
And they wouldn't have been able to use the lawn in that case.
Okay. But,
We're expecting rain.
yeah, so there will be accommodations made for them to be able to pay that, any overhead and adjust to
We're
make-
just asking for them to work with us on it. So no deadline was given. Yeah, just please work with us on it.
very, well, they're very much willing to, and if need be, I could definitely intervene and be accessible to any of the arrangements that need to be made.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
We already contacted the two people that were involved.
Very good.
It's all set. Thank you, Tootsie,
Thank
for
you.
coming in. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? All right, next up is appointments. I have Barbara A. Smith. Barbara here?
Mrs. Smith is not here. She's
Okay.
away. They were trying to get her put in. The committee's approved her. They have a deadline for demolition hearing, so they need that member to be there.
I have it here.
Thank
And
you.
I move we appoint Barbara A. Smith of 6 Prospect Ave in Onset to the Historical Commission to a term to expire June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 5-0-0.
Okay, that's
Thank
what I
you.
have for appointments. Application for a common vic for Tremont Mill.
Mill Pond Restaurant.
Joe Ziti. Come on down, Joe. Grab a chair.
Diane also.
Diane, come on. Hello. Tell us a little bit about what you're gonna do, and, we'll, same as always, right, Joe? Cook.
Same as always. Same as always.
Want to restore it.
Feed the crowd, right?
Restore it.
Just do what we're doing.
Okay.
Bring it back where the diner was. You want to try.
Any,
Questions from the board? Mr. Titlebaum?
None.
Mrs.
Thank you.
Whiteside? Mr. Holmes? Ms. Tropino?
I move we
Go ahead.
approve the common particular license for Tremont Mill Pond, Inc., DBA Tremont Mill Pond, 2571 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Massachusetts. Of course, it'll expire yearly, like all the other licenses.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Any questions? None heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 5-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you for
luck.
stepping up and taking over that particular property.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
application for a junk dealer license from Charles Lewis, 3178 and 3245 Cranberry Highway. Come on down. Mhm.
You know.
Thank you, folks.
I've got two. All right, let's, you want to deal with them both at the same time, or do you want to deal with them one at a time?
No, they're two separate licenses.
All right, so we'll
Two
deal with them.
locations.
All right, so let's deal with 3178 Cranberry Highway first, because that's on top.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening.
Would you like to tell us what you're applying for, sir?
A junk license?
Okay.
Could he identify himself for the record, please?
Charles A. Lewis,
Okay.
L-E-W-I-S.
Where is 3178 exactly? Does anybody?
31 is on the right-hand side, heading down Cranberry Highway, just after the intersection with Echo Marina, is just a little ways past that, going
Okay.
down.
And
Before the bridge.
3245 is,
32 is coming up closer to, at a slight angle across from Olson's, if I remember right.
from Olson's, across from Olson's?
Correct, yes.
Okay, all right, just wanted to be sure where they were, okay.
Mhm.
Questions from the board, Mr. Titlebaum?
I have a couple for Mr. Lewis, then I have one for town council. Starting with you, Mr. Lewis, it's been quite a process to get you in here.
Last,
so that you can apply to legalize the operation.
right, last meeting, a dear friend of mine hung himself. I attended his wake, and I apologize to that, okay?
No, I understand that. My concerns were the prior operation without this license having been issued.
When I purchased the building, excuse me, not the building, the property, I bought the contents and everything in it, and to my knowledge, the license and everything was all above board. The only thing I had to do was put a trip and fall insurance policy if somebody fell, which I've done so. The town came to me and said that I had to get a license. At that point, there was no reason to get a license because of the bridge ongoing year and a half, loss of revenue due to that bridge construction. The orange barrels continues going up and down. Women couldn't get in there, people couldn't get in there. It was a dangerous situation going out of the parking lot. Therefore, I seeked another place down the street that came available, and I was gonna close the building down, but I still like the area. When the bridge is done, I will resume going there, provided I get a license to go there. I complied everything that they've asked of me. The town hall, there was a matter of rubbish that was dumped there, not by my means. People just continuously dumped whatever they dumped. I have all my receipts from Bond landfill. They found faulty with the illuminated exit signs, which I completed. And that was asked of that, and that's when I left the property to presume where I am at now, the other building. And I might just close that shop up because due to a lack of business, it's getting real tough to remain in business today. I'm a family man. I got 8 kids, 2 at home, college tuitions, and so on and so on. I am sure you all know what that means, and I'm struggling to make a living, and this is how I make my living.
Okay, thank you. Next question to Town Council, through you, Mr. Chairman. What rights do we have in terms of ongoing superintendence over an application if the license is granted? Under the general laws?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Selectman Titlebaum. Chapter 140, Section 54 governs the revocation of such licenses. And to quote the statute, a license may be revoked at pleasure. You won't find that phrase in any other statute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Titlebaum?
Now,
I'm going to reluctantly, I think, to some extent, not 100% vote yes on these, with the understanding that the conditions this board sets in connection with any license have to be followed to the letter. As you just heard from our council, we can revoke these licenses for good cause, bad cause, or no cause. It's strictly at our pleasure. So if this turns into something that generates a lot of complaints, or it requires a lot of activity from the police department, or if there are code enforcement issues going on down there, I just want to be clear that should the board vote these things, you are going to be on an extremely short leash.
110%, sir.
Okay,
However,
I just want to be upfront with you on that,
and I
because
appreciate
I don't want you to feel ambushed in case
But
something should go awry there.
the application that the detective, Mr. Smith, gave me, the application, it was supposed to be for a pawnbroker's license. I don't know. So I'm requesting for a license, for a junk license, not a pawnbroker's license.
No, I understand that. Some of us on the board, dating back a couple of years, did express grave concerns about issuing any more pawnbrokers licenses. I do acknowledge the distinction between that and what you're seeking to do.
There's quite a difference
No,
there.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And there was no police officer complaint, and nothing. And, precious metals, I don't do nothing with that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bowen, you had your hand up?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just so that the applicant is clear, yes, there is a big difference between a pawnbroker license and a junk license.
Yes.
but under the town bylaws, many of the requirements that apply to a pawnbroker also apply to a junk dealer.
So I am finding this out,
For
yes, sir.
for example,
Mhm.
maintaining a logbook of items received and received from whom,
Mhm.
which is available for the inspection by the police department at any
Correct.
time.
Mhm.
You'll find that to be common with a
I go-
pawnbroker.
I go back 32 years with this business.
Well,
I
before
want-
we go back to your
Yeah.
history with the business, let
Okay.
me continue
Yes.
to tell you a little bit more about it.
Okay.
It means that you have to have your license on your person if you're out collecting things,
Mhm.
or on display at your
Place of
at your
business.
place of business.
Correct, yes.
I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of those things.
Yes, I am, sir. Thank you kindly.
Mr. Bowen, you're basically doing Division 2, Article 2, Section 2? That's where you're quoting from? Yes, sir. Okay.
Wow.
Mrs. Whiteside?
We're discussing only the first one of the two applications, but I'd like to know which one has the fee paid. I'm sorry, the fee, I believe, on the first one, which you,
There was an issue with the, and that's corrected as of today, ma'am. I have receipt of that.
right, but that's only the first one. So if we have a second one, what is to say that we're not going to have the same issue with that?
Because it's already been through the accounts and everything else.
No, because you had to,
There was two applications. okay,
right.
And both applications are paid in full.
I was told that one was paid in
No,
full.
there's one as of today, which I was not aware of. The bank gives me an automatic payment. I don't know what the situation was. The check did not show it. I confirmed with my bank. They had no idea. However, we have a protection against my bank account for this matter. And the deposit wasn't made that evening because I was at the wake of my friend who took his life. And I apologize for that, but I totally forgot about it. And I
Mrs.
had-
Whiteside, that issue was resolved today.
When I was in the office this morning, only one of them had been resolved.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Okay. Second one hadn't come back, so there's no issue yet.
I believe you, sir, because I know that we had one that was taken
Right,
care
and
of.
And the second then was, I was aware of that today, and I corrected it, about $154 and $175 to be corrected. And I have that.
You had, so you went to the collector's office twice?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Could you hand the clerk your receipts for those,
Sure, I
please?
can if I can find it here, and I forgot my glasses, so bear with me a moment. Who?
I'm the clerk.
Okay, super.
I think,
I'll make a copy and give it right back. We'll give you a copy of it right back.
Thank you. Mrs. Whiteside, are you finished, or you have more? Mr. Holmes, actually, Mr. Holmes, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure that, because on the agenda, they are both the same item. I just want to make sure that, which is the building on the bridge. The address on the bridge, is
that
it?
would be the, no,
30
that'd be the,
The one on the bridge is 3245.
right, it'd be the higher number.
What I want to speak to is 3178. For those of the board members who may be unaware of the location, for several months, I'm wondering why, sir, you're even applying for a license here. You have one, according to you.
The building,
You told town council that you had one. You told the chief of police that you had one. You told the detectives that you had one. You told the building inspector that you had one. And you told the board of health agent you had one. And yet you're applying for one.
excuse me, I
It's been
stated.
going on for months,
Right,
not weeks.
no. When I left, I am a licensed auctioneer for many a years, and I thought that the auctioneer license would override that. However, I did find out, and that's why I'm applying for the license.
I
This
think
is
you're
the-
absolutely clear on, I think you know what licenses you're supposed to have there. I
This
really
is
do, because you
correct.
are an experienced person.
Oh, yes.
So, you've been operating this business in Wareham, and this is the business that I first brought to the board's attention. This business has been running illegally. when you refer to people dropping trash off, we have enough trouble getting people to pick trash up off the beach. Sir, I'm talking about a pigsty in the morning. I've been there
Yep.
at 6 in the morning. I have pictures, and this isn't people dropping their trash off, throwing it out the window.
Okay,
And the Board of Health agent has been out there at least 6 or 7 times in the last 6 months to get you to clean it up, and you refuse to do it.
that's not right, sir, no.
Yeah, it is right.
I have.
It is right. It's
Okay,
pretty
no.
clean today. You're right.
It is.
But when Mr.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ethier
Mhm.
went out there, you yesed him to death in an illegal business, shouldn't have been there in the first place, and the place is a pigsty. That's not people just throwing stuff around. Now there's boats out there.
There
And
are,
you're not even supposed to be open for business, and the boat shows up.
well, those who were here before.
And
Flaherty-
here's my point.
Go ahead.
Because I'm tired of, we stopped it on Main Street, and my mission in life is to stop the junk on Cranberry Highway.
And I'm
That is
all for
our
it.
highway, that is our entry to this town. I don't support any licenses out there.
Okay.
And if anybody is operating the way you've been operating, with no license and fully knowledgeable about it, sir, I'm looking for them to go home too.
Okay. Now,
I'm not in favor of this license at all.
okay,
And I don't think that you should be selling boats with big holes in them out on the entrance to our town. I don't agree with this.
there
At all.
are people on the highway that have boats up for sale within 100
And
yards.
I'd love to clean those up too.
Okay.
You're
And
absolutely
I'm in
right.
favor
That's my
for-
mission, is to
If
clean up that
if
highway.
that is an issue, I will gladly remove those immediately
But
tomorrow.
this
Also,
location,
yes,
you've been asked repeatedly by town officials,
when the officials
and
came,
when they turn around and walk away, you continue to do business. That happened 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. You want to tell me that didn't happen after
No,
the
it did.
detectives were there?
when the detective approached me, he said cease and desist, and I did that immediately.
And then 10 minutes later, you were selling stuff again. Yes, you were. The chief of police had to go there twice,
The
didn't
chief
he?
came down, I did not, when they told me cease and desist, all my product went back into the shed, closed down, sir.
If we
And
need
you
to
have
bring
my
the
word
chief
on
in, Mr. Chairman, we can
Also-
certainly do that to get
One
to
at a
the
time,
truth here.
please. and
Yes.
let's a little-
But
I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna beleaguer the point.
Okay,
This has been an embarrassment, this location, to the town, and I urge my fellow board members not to allow this man to reopen this location as a junkyard.
all right, may I intervene, please? I have in my possession the total of $1,500 on a weekly basis going back and forth to the town landfill. There was a backup, excuse me, there was a backup, people started to throw trash there, okay, as far as mattresses and so forth, that was not my belongings. I did correct it. The town came down, and I put a dumpster in it, and I removed all of it, and it's been cleaned since then. No report of badness at trash at all. I did clean it up to 100%, both locations, sir. I
And,
cleaned it up.
and just to let you know, the reason the town hasn't been back is because the Board of Health agent refuses to go back, because he's tired of going there and being told no. And he turned it over to the board, and I see our town council shaking his
Right.
head, who investigated this matter.
Right, and
So,
also, it is.
That's
cleaned-
why they haven't been back.
Okay, well, right now,
They're
present,
tired of
I
trying to
have-
get it done.
on a weekly, going to the town landfill, bond landfill, I have all reports that I've paid to remove this stuff from the property.
It's
And the
okay.
properties are
It's a
clean.
different issue. Mr. Tropiano? My only concerns right now, besides the issues that have been ongoing since I've been there a few times, and also I've spoke to the Board of Health, et cetera, we have on that particular division, Article 2, Section 1, we can't have more than 5 suitable, persons to be dealers and keepers in that type of shop. I believe, if I checked properly, I believe we have 4 in effect as of today. So we can only do 1 license out of the 2 anyways. I don't believe we're allowed to do the 6th one because of what our bylaws have. So that's an issue in itself. And I know that we've tried more than a few times to try and get this resolved. We've had issues of people telling us that we don't need a business license, we don't have to do this, we don't have to do that. Unfortunately, we have other businesses that do comply, and it's for the protection of you as well as for the citizens and the people who purchase things from you. So I'm going to, any other rebuttal or anything else?
I can comply and keep the property.
No, I understand, but it's been a difficult road, sir. It's not been
And
easy.
also, there is, I even hate to say it, there are, within a quarter of a mile, over 300 dealers. Do they obtain a license?
I can't answer you exactly. As far as in Wareham, anyone that's dealing with this, we're working on it as of right now, because we contacted several of the
Right.
businesses. My question to you would be, which one of the two locations do you want a license for? We can't give you one for both.
Okay, the one near the bridge, I was gonna surrender that anyway.
So you're now looking for the one on 3178?
Correct, yes. And I will keep the place clean on a thorough inspection.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Chairman, in lieu of that, then I would make a motion to deny the license for 3178 Cranberry Highway. The neighbors there have suffered enough with the junk behind that barn. It's an atrocity to drive down that highway. You got kids playing in the little miniature golf place, and you got this junkyard right there. And Olson's makes a great investment in our town. And to have this junk pile there, I would have hoped you had picked the other building. But since you picked this one, I make a motion to deny the license.
I'll second.
Discussion? Mr. Titlebaum?
The only thing I would say is, as council said, you can grant and revoke at will as a board. The other piece to this is, you know, for weeks we've been banging the drum on telling businesses to get in here, get themselves legal. You have to have the proper licensing, you have to have the proper permitting, and now we have somebody who's done that. I don't know all of the facts that other selectmen seem to know about this, but perhaps there was some reluctance to come forward and do this. Perhaps the applicant had to be dragged kicking and screaming in here. Nonetheless, we said to these people, get yourselves legal. We've got somebody
That's what
before
I'm
us
doing.
who wants to legalize the operation.
Mr. Titlebaum,
As-
if I may,
No,
Mr. Chairman,
but-
if he wants to talk about the 3245 location for a license, I'd be happy to do that, not this location. Because we have experience, and we have the bad history, and we have
It's-
the bad track record here. That's why I'm saying, deny this one. If you want to talk about this one, I have a couple of recommendations that I think would fit the application, and I think it will work out fine at the bridge location.
Let's just stay with the
Either
motion
or.
for 3245, please.
Let me be clear on this. Which is the one that he's seeking?
He's seeking both.
Right, but he can only get one. That much we know. So what-
And I would.
you have one preference, and obviously you have another preference.
would
So I need to
favor
know
the
which is
bridge
which
with
here.
restrictions,
Which one is the bridge?
3245.
45.
I just want to be clear on that, so we,
If I
public
am
knows exactly what we're
disrupting-
voting on here.
Excuse me, sir. If I'm disrupting our neighbors, I will surrender that, and I will move on to the bridge, which is more secluded. And I think everybody will be happy. I'm a family man. I just want to remain in business and support my family.
Mr.
I would
Holmes, do you want to remove your motion?
Well, I think we'll deny it and then vote to approve the other one.
We can only approve one
Right.
period anyways,
So
because
if we
only
deny
one available.
3178,
If we approve this one, you can't have this one anymore.
Can't have the other one because it's not available.
Because it's unavailable.
We only have 5 available.
well, let's deny this one. I'd appreciate that motion. And then, because this one will have restrictions.
All right, we'll put,
Right.
if we want, we'll put on the record, we have a
Yeah, no,
motion
it's
to
on the
deny.
record. 3178 Cranberry Highway for a junk dealer's license application.
We have a motion and a second by
Y-
Mrs.
y- Yes,
Whiteside?
now you've confused me. You said
Questions?
if we, yeah, please. Mr. Lewis has a preference for 3178. And your motion is to deny 3178.
Right.
Then can we address 3245?
Yes, next.
Yes.
That's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
as soon as we vote this
One of you
down, I'll
said
address
no in there.
3245.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Any-
thank
If we
you.
turn this one down, then the other one's still available.
Any other questions
Right.
of the board? None
None.
heard? All those in favor of the motion to
Aye.
deny?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Go on to the other location, please. Any questions on that next? Mr. Titlebaum?
I have no questions, but I'll reserve until I hear what Selectman Holmes is looking for conditions here.
Mrs. Whiteside.
Same comment.
If you want to go next, Patrick, let Steve.
Yeah, let's see it go.
3245.
3245.
Is it 31? Patrick, is it 31 or 32?
Just
No, because on this license, it looks like a 2 or a 1.
Looks like it was originally written as a 1, but a 2 over it.
Right.
Yeah.
3245.
It is 32, right?
That's what
This
we
is
have.
the blue building? This is the blue building, sir?
Correct, yes, sir.
Yeah, I would, to have a fresh start and give Mr. Lewis a chance.
Thank you, sir.
It'll be a very slim chance, but you're gonna really have to perform here, sir, because of your history. You have a history here, and that's
Yes.
the problem. I would make a motion that we approve the junk dealer's license application for Mr. Lewis at 3245 Cranberry Highway with certain restrictions. And if we have to have town council look at those restrictions, I'd be happy to do that. One, no vehicles are to be stored or sold on the property, and that sales of cash for stuff too should be made indoors and not outdoors. We're not granting a flea market outside, we're granting a junkyard sale inside.
Want to just repeat that again?
Yeah, one, I don't want any vehicles, boats, any type of vehicle around that property for sale. So I want to limit that. And two, if it's possible, I'd like to make sure that we restrict the license so that all of the goods and sales and things are done inside like a regular store. So that, and the two reasons for that is one, boats and broken down vehicles are an eyesore, and I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to meet the man halfway. And in terms of the outside stuff, that's how we got into trouble at the other place. And so by using, that's a pretty sizable building, he can fit plenty of stuff in there. I know he has a lot of stuff in there. And that way, we keep everything clean and on the upright.
Sounds good.
If you don't have a problem with that,
None, none.
then I think we can try to make a fresh beginning
Sounds good.
and allow you to earn a living for your
And
family.
the building, the other building will remain closed. I need approximately a week to clean that out, if that's granted.
Can work
just-
that out with Mr. Sullivan.
I just can't do it overnight, but,
I'll second the
And,
motion.
And just, I have a note in the file that he owes $4.50 for the 3% fee.
And subject to the fact, and the third piece would be that all fees
I hate
are
to be a
paid up.
nitpicker, but
All
is
fees.
four- did you pay that today?
Yeah.
on the
He
application,
did.
it says $150.
Right, it's
That's on
actually,
your application, sir.
but it's
However,
it's $154.50.
they corrected me on that. I immediately went down and
Did
paid
you? Okay.
the
all right.
$4.50.
I'll throw this in, at the end.
No, it's money.
I gotta get the $4.50.
Patrick,
got it.
I'll throw this in at the end. Subject to all fees being
There
paid.
you go.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
And Judy, if you'd second that again.
I did, yes, I did.
Questions?
I would
Rich
just
has a
like you to
question.
be
I'll
very
get to Mr.
specific
Bowen in a few
about
minutes.
the addendum.
Right, one
Condition
is
A would be no boats or vehicles
no-
stored or sold on the premises.
No
Whether
vehicles.
registered or unregistered.
And he's agreed to that.
B
Yes.
is all
Okay.
sales and goods for sale be kept inside the building.
And he's
Correct.
agreed with that.
So does
But
that
I'd
mean
like it
that,
written down, like we do on the liquor, I want it on the license.
We'll have to
And
redo
if-
the license.
Subject to town council agreeing with those provisions, the owner is agreeable, the board is agreeable,
does that, but I,
Mr.
say
Bowen?
you, through the chair.
Mr. Bowen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to point out that unless the gentleman has a Class 2 or
right.
car
Right.
license
You can't
or a
deal with them
Class
anyways.
3
I
junk
did
car
refer to
license,
this license.
yes, he would not have the ability, should this license be granted, to sell cars. Now, I did notice when I visited the other establishment
Yeah.
that there were a number of vehicles there. I couldn't tell whether they were for sale or not.
No, there was, friends of mine,
Yeah.
we had.
All that stuff is going away.
it's
He's
gonna
just
go
agreed.
away.
We're having a new beginning.
And,
All those
Okay.
trailers
yes.
are junk, they're all going
Right.
away. It's all going away.
As Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify.
Little Ronald.
Before we go ahead, I just have a couple little questions to go. Sorry to throw a little wrench here. Mr. Bowen, The businesses are listed, and now we have one as a single proprietorship, no employees. So I'm going to make an assumption, which is not the best thing to do in the world, that if the gentleman is not there, that the business is closed. When we were there that time, the business was open. There were people there, but there was no ownership, no employees. Not by the phone.
Yeah. But with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I mean,
There,
Proprietorship can have employees.
when I visited the establishment before, the gentleman was not there, the door was open. There did seem to be one gentleman who was watching the business for you.
correct, he's a personal friend of mine.
And there seemed to be two other gentlemen that were also on the premises in some unspecified
Well,
role.
I have company that come to me, I have friends in the town, I mean, you know, they stop by, say hello, even to date that they stop by, and I put up a line, do not enter, the place is closed, and I had a couple of visitors today, I mean, that's about it.
My only concern is that if you do have people working for you, you do follow the rules and have workmen's comp, because that
I
creates a problem.
understand,
So
but-
that's an issue because of the way you filled it
I-
out.
and I understand that wholeheartedly. These are friends of
Okay.
mine,
Just so you
one's up from
understand.
Virginia, South Carolina, and the other
Right.
one, his mother has got a situation
Okay.
with cancer. So-
Mr. Bowen, the other question, did we check into the, Steve?
Oh, absolutely.
He understands.
Yeah, oh, no, I'm agreeing with you 1,010% on that. Hello, yeah, as an employee, correct, yep. This is, yes,
He
yep,
understands.
thank you, gentlemen.
Last question I have is, have we confirmed the zoning, that junk business is allowed in the zoning area? Which we've probably never done.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I haven't done an independent review of the zoning, but I did notice in reviewing the application that Mr. Moore had signed off on the application.
Just want to make sure that's
And
there.
I assume that he would not have done so if it were
Okay.
inappropriate.
No other questions? Oh, Mrs. Whiteside,
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, seriously, guys, first of all, I'd like to remind this board that we are not to be even looking at things until all of the fees have been paid, collected in full. I'm just saying that. We took that action several months ago. It makes us look stupid. It makes the applicant look stupid. It's ridiculous to have things in front of us when they are not fully paid.
As
Okay,
of today, everything has been
Yeah,
collected.
but this agenda was made up as of Friday, and that was not correct at that time. We went through this. I just think you need to, not you, we need to be doing business. The second question I have is that we have two applications. One is Charles Lewis, DBA Cash for Stuff 2, with virtually no backup. The other one has C.A. Lewis, DBA Antiques Plus, Inc. So, again, I seconded the motion for the location, but I'd like to know what the name of the business is that we are,
It will be
It's in the application.
cash for,
Saving trees.
Patrick, have you got a full packet on the
The
second
only
one,
one
too?
that matters is what's on the license, and the license says Charles Lewis, DBA Cash for Stuff 2.
And that's the applicant, and that's who
what's
will
on
receive the
3245.
license.
thank you, yes.
right, but that disclosure statement, et cetera, does not match this application. This goes to the one on the bridge, okay? But the names are different. The name here is DBA Stuff 2, but the application information does not refer to that business name.
The gal upstairs, when I made the application, she made it out, and that was the information I gave her. If there's
I'm not an
error-
attorney, but I was a banker for a really long time, and there's a
Okay.
difference between
Yes,
the paperwork that is required.
That's what I just said to you, there's nothing with this one. And you said this is the same. But it is two different businesses.
I've got it here. I do. There's the attestation. I have, this is the application, the official application. Hold on a second, hang on, you're sneaking. I've got,
What do we have for the actual license for this
I've
one?
got that, and I have that. I have them all, workers' comp and the application, and they're all the same, they all
Yes.
match.
They did
Every
a-
single one of them matches.
they
It's
did a-
all-
That if it was in the clerk's packet, then he's okay.
Wrong. The
Okay,
stuff
I
that's in the file is
apologize. It
right.
was in the clerk's. It's not in ours. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. I am tired of looking for things that are not in front of me.
But it is a different name. So you
Yeah.
have all this with
It's all
cash.
corrected
It's
here.
in the folder.
It's in
You
the-
have all
My
the stuff
packet is correct.
that says cash for stuff
Correct.
too,
Yes, I do.
right?
Everything in my packet matches.
In that case, we can finish it up.
Any other questions? No more
I
confusion?
think we've come to the end of the road.
Yes, we have. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. We're basically going to have to go and have the people in the office redo the actual permit,
License, 'cause we
license.
gotta add the
We have to put the
stipulation.
conditions on it, so you probably will pick it up in about, because we have to sign it again, hopefully within
Okay.
2 days at the most.
This is the other building, I
Yeah,
assume.
where you were before.
You got my word on that, sir. Thank you.
The other bit, the building
Yeah.
near the golf course shall never be open again. If we don't
It
have a
is,
license.
that's
There's no
done,
license.
it's done. I can only run one, to be
It's-
honest with you.
It's all
Mr.
set.
Sullivan
Thank you.
and
We're all
Mr.
set, thank
Sullivan
you.
will
Thank
be
you,
checking
gentlemen.
with you in about a week to make sure that it's cleaned up. Yes.
All right, here we
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen and lady.
All right, here we go. Next up is request readers become leaders for the use of town roads. Is that what this is? Yes. Use of town roads. Readers become leaders. 5K race and walk from the Minot Forest School to Great Neck Road, Stillman Drive, Minot Forest School, on Sunday, October the 19th, 2014, from 12 noon to 1:30 p.m.
Somebody here for the organization? Come on up. I promise this will be easier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Famous last words.
Yeah, you say that now.
Oh, we don't sign.
Why don't you go ahead and explain what it is so people know what's happening?
Okay, I'm Bethany Chandler, and I represent Wareham Middle School. This is our annual 5K race held the third Sunday in October. This is our 11th annual race. The proceeds to this race benefit the Wareham Middle School students.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Questions?
Time and place. Any questions from the board? Mr. Titlebaum?
No questions. Great stuff. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
stepping up with us.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Just want to say that the year that you did the costumes for the reading, that was outstanding. So
Yes.
keep on going.
Yeah, we do it every year,
Yeah,
so
it was great.
it's exciting. Thank you.
No other questions from the board? Tropiano?
I
Mr.
move
Holmes?
we
Thank you
approve.
very much.
Go ahead.
We approve the use of town roads for Wareham Middle School, for Viking Drive, for the use of the town roads on, let's see, on October 19, 2014, between 12 noon and 1:30 p.m. for their 5K race and walk from Minot Forest School to Great Neck Road, Stillman Drive, and back to Minot Forest.
Second.
Any questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Thank you.
Thank you so
Next
much.
up, thank you. Next up, Wareham Village Association, Tracy McGraw. Is she here?
Hi, Tracy. Come on up.
Come on, Tracy. And this is for the use of town roads for the annual 'Tis the Season Christmas Parade. The parade will begin at Bessie Park to the town green on Saturday, December 6, 2014, at 2 p.m.
Would you like to
Sir.
explain the event at all for people listening?
Sure. It's actually the second year that I am in charge of this parade, and our hopes are to double it in size, which is why the time is a little earlier. I want the board to know your invitation is on its way. We look forward to the participation of it. It's a great event for the town. We partner with Chief McDuffie. He last year did a bonfire down at the firehouse, so it's just a great family event. It's, once the parade ends, then everyone loops back down there, and then he has s'mores and things for the families to do after it.
Some awards. Oh.
S'mores, yes.
And Coco.
Yes.
Anybody?
Mr. Titlebaum, any questions?
Nope.
Mrs. Whiteside? Mr. Holmes?
Thank you very much.
I
Thank you.
move we
Thank the
approve
Village
Wareham
Association.
Village Association, care of Tracy McGraw, 245 High Street, Wareham, for their annual 'Tis the Season Christmas Parade. The parade will begin at Bessie Park to Town Green on Saturday, December the 6th, 2014, and begin at 2 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. No questions heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
Awesome, thank you. Look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you
Thank
there.
you.
Bye-bye.
Next up, Wareham Veterans Council, care of Mr. White. You gonna come out here, Mr. White? Come on out.
Comes the
you
wizard
go.
from behind the curtain.
This is for the use of town roads for the parade that starts at Bessie Park, down Main Street, left up Chapel Hill, Marion Road to Viking Drive, to the end of Town Hall. This is the annual Veterans Council Parade.
Mr. White, you
It's
need-
November 11, 2014, starting at 10:30 a.m.
Parade kicks off at 10:30 a.m., yes.
It is?
Parade kicks off at
Yeah,
10:30,
right.
yeah. This will be the third year that Sharon Boyer and I have tried to revitalize the Veterans Day Parade and other events held on the 11th of November. Well, certainly want to say that this is a community event, an opportunity for us as community members to say thank you to the veterans who live next door to us, or are our friends, or hopefully both. In any case, we plan the parade, a ceremony between the Multi-Service Center and Town Hall, as well as the luncheon for veterans in the Multi-Service Center. Format basically is the same as last year. We hope that we can embellish and enhance it some, but the basic format is pretty well established. We think we've got a successful format, and we don't want to mess with success.
You're looking for help to continue on also, Mr. White, are you not?
Yes. I hope that next year I can take a less visible part in this operation, and I'm looking for someone who's willing to do some of the nuts and bolts work.
A volunteer advocate.
Pardon?
A volunteer advocate.
Yes.
Any questions? Titlebaum?
None.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Just want to thank you very much for doing this. Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
You're welcome.
Good job.
Tropiano?
All set.
It's a lot of work,
We
Bob, we
approve the
appreciate it.
Wareham Ventral Council, care of William R.C. White, 11 Regent Ave, Wareham, for the use of town roads for their annual Veterans Day Parade. Parade starts at Bessie Park, down Main Street, up Chapel Hill to Marion Road to Viking Drive, and end at the Town Hall on Tuesday, November the 11th, 2014, and will kick off at 10:30 a.m.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. No questions heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
Thank you.
again, Bob.
Thank you.
Next up is Buzzards Bay Productions. They're looking for 5, if I'm not mistaken, 5 one-day liquor licenses. Let's check it out here.
Yep.
5 one-days. Let's see what we got.
How you doing?
Hey, good, how are you?
All right.
All right.
You look,
All right, here we
like
go.
I feel right now. You look a
No,
little
I
tired,
probably
bud.
yeah.
What's the matter?
This is for 5 one-day all-alcoholic licenses for October the 9th, October the 10th, October the 11th, October 17th, October 18th. And they're going to be from 8 p.m. to midnight at 3065 Cranberry Highway. And I'm sorry, but it's beer and wine only, so according to the
Counts me
thing.
out.
Not to be all alcoholic, but to be beer and wine
What-
only.
I have 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, I got
They only
1,
applied
2,
for
3,
5.
4, I only have 5. 9, 10, 11, 17, and 18.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
why I
not
have two.
24 and 25, they didn't apply.
None on this license.
You didn't apply on this license for the 24th and the 25th, which is the same program?
She only applied for 5 licenses, I believe.
That's right.
And I believe some of the days have got 2 shows.
Okay.
And it's all for a play. It's all cabaret.
Right.
So there's no music and bands.
So there
and
will
all.
be no,
As of right now, there would be no on the last two, Mrs.
the
Whiteside.
last 2, the October 24th and 25th, are
Right.
not being applied for.
If
Only
they,
what's on there.
Thank you.
if they do anything else, they're actually, this will be number 28 when we're all done. They're allowed 30, so they had 2 more, but they didn't go ahead with those.
You're gonna end up, I'm sorry.
He's going, we've already talked about, it.
Yeah.
they're gonna go for seasonal license.
We have to take and push for that seasonal license. That's,
We're too
Right
close.
now, I mean, this is the only thing you can do, but
yes, correct. And it's probably been a year since we've talked about that. you know, and it's a matter, it was a matter, well, it still
We
is a
can do as
matter
many
of
of
money.
those as we need to, but this way, then you don't only have to worry about it.
Oh, no, it would be
Got a
better,
couple
financially beneficial to go the other route, the seasonal thing. But this
Okay.
is,
Mr. Tropiano?
I move we grant a special license for sale of wine and malt beverages to be drunk on the premises under Chapter 138, Section 14 of the Liquor Control Act for October 9th, 10th, 11th, 17th, and 18th, 2014, between 8 p.m. and 12 p.m. Hold on, 12 p.m. for Buzzards Play Productions, 3065 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Massachusetts.
Second?
I think your
Second, but I
times
think
are
your times are wrong, because,
12
yeah.
a.m.
Try again.
Can you read the times again, please?
Midnight is 12 a.m.
At midnight, it's 8 p.m. to 12 midnight.
Okay. You said 12 p.m., so that would kind of,
No, 12 midnight.
wouldn't really work.
Can you read the times again, please? Because he's got two programs.
matter what you
It's 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's what's on the license. I don't care what it says on the flyer.
But he's got two performances.
I don't care what it says on the flyer. It's 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. I have to go by what's on the license.
The 8 p.m. probably ends sometime around after 11 o'clock, the second performance is one.
Well, it just means that he's not.
That he's not serving at the first performance, right.
It's probably a matinee
That's
for
all
kids
that
or
that
something.
means.
Okay.
Sorry, but we have to do the license.
We have a motion, do we have a
Yes,
second? Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside.
Like to do
Any
something
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 500.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
folks.
You should better pick that up tomorrow.
Have a good evening.
Get some sleep, it looks like you're
Next
dragging.
up is Wines and More. Anybody here from them? All right. Wines and More is changing their hours. I'll give it to you quickly. All right. Their present hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 12 to 6. They want to change their hours to Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside, just as an explanation.
No.
Sorry.
I don't think
Mr.
our voice is
Titlebaum.
that deep.
Yeah, it's close. Just so people know, there was a change in the Sunday laws from the ABCC with a 10 a.m. change. This is the reason they're doing it. No questions heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Thank you, Mrs. Slavin, for letting me know about
Thank
that.
you.
All right.
You're welcome.
The one on policy 0801, I haven't got together with the town administrator to come up with the list yet, so we're going to put that off until next week.
Okay.
It'll be on next week's agenda. Next after that is continued discussion and vote on citizens' participation articles submitted for town meeting.
That will be Mr. Holmes's article action for tonight.
Mr. Holmes?
Oh, is it just me?
That's you.
Just you.
That's you.
Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
I always wanted to sit here again. My name is Steve Holmes. I'm from Onset. Good evening, members of the board. We in Onset and Wareham and all over the South Coast right now are very excited about finally having a luxury premier golf resort in the village of Onset. So many of us have worked for a lot more years than I've been around to make sure that Wareham continues to own and flourish and create a destined resort in the village of Onset that relates to golf. So I thought that our opportunity here was over and that the issue is the land that Cedar currently manages for the town of Wareham. The gentleman who owns the golf course, and I'll keep this very, very brief, because it's not part of the discussion, but just to give you some background, offered to buy the land, and it will be 2 years in October. And the town, quite frankly, has never really giving him a bona fide answer, which one is embarrassing and two is not creating a welcoming atmosphere for business. So this thing has been going back and forth. The Board of Selectmen don't know anything about it. On some nights and other nights they have plenty of information. The Cedar Board is confused as to what they can talk about and what they can't talk about, and then they send the gentleman here during the daytime. So I think it was in January I asked Mr. Sullivan to get involved because he is our town administrator, and I think he enlisted the help of Mr. Bowen, and Mr. Bowen was instrumental in contacting the owner. But even at that point, I thought that this was just it was over, and they were going to build a clubhouse and parking lot up on the hill, and just leave, give the land, break their lease, get out of the lease. And then a few weeks ago, there was a meeting with Mr. Pena, I think, and it seemed there was maybe an opportunity to regenerate this project in terms of the Cedar land. And I know that Mr. Bowen, on the direction of the town administrator, had talked to the owner. So in order for this to take place, there must be a town meeting vote authorizing the Board of Selectmen to approve of any kind of conveyance or sale or whatever to do with the transfer of property in the town of Wareham. And the reason it's under a citizen's participation is because I didn't find out that there was an opportunity until I think it was the Wednesday, and Alan closed the thing on the Friday. So the only thing we had left to do is do a citizen's participation, for which we garnered, in less than 24 hours, probably about 120, 130 signatures. If we had more time, we could have given you 1,000 signatures because people really support this project, and they don't support, quite frankly, having a building that's fallen down and the dump that we have for Cedar property now. The parking lot's a mess. The other parking lot's a swamp. The roof on the building is falling in, and it's being held up by 2 posts. And the guy's not going to fix the building unless he owns it. If he doesn't own it, he's just going to build another one up the top and just leave that one behind. So we have one more shot, I think. This doesn't guarantee anything. All it does is, if the Board of Selectmen and the Cedar Board decide to sell the land to the gentleman, we'll already have town meeting done, because this is not going to wait until April, and there's a matter of weeks here before their final decision is made to build that clubhouse and parking lot up on the hill where we have a thriving pavilion business, and he's going to leave this land behind. So while I'm at it, and that's my explanation. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but I can't speak for him. The reason it's here is because Alan, if he had worked a little faster, your chairman, I think he could have got it in before the Friday, but I don't know, he was off doing something else. So we missed the Friday thing, and we had to, in order to get it on town meeting, because again, this won't be a viable option in April, so we had to do it now. Because the winter season is when the fall and winter is when they're going to begin that construction of either the existing building or a new building.
Mr. Titlebaum.
So, any questions?
I don't have any particular problem with this, so long as the proper procurement processes are followed.
Mrs. Whiteside.
And again, my article doesn't sell the property, it just gives that general authorization that we have to get anytime we transfer
Right.
property.
So has the CETA board passed on this?
I'm sorry?
Has the CETA board passed on this?
To be quite honest with you, it's a very confusing message.
So that's a yes, no?
Well, they send, the gentleman's been in.
Yeah.
I didn't, my article's not about that, it's about this.
Okay.
So, I missed it.
Okay, thank you.
That's an issue I think the Board of Selectmen need to deal with Cedar on.
Okay.
And come to some answer with the town administrator.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Tropiano.
Well, I think everybody knows how I feel about this property. I've already talked about it a million times. But it's a citizen's petition, so it goes in front of the voters, and they'll
Yeah.
make their choice. That's all there is to it.
Just so everybody understands, the way the article is written, it allows Cedar, if it decides in their meetings that they would like to sell the property rather than develop it, it allows them that ability. In order to do that, they have to come before the Board of Selectmen due to the way a special act was done back some years ago, changing the EDIC to the Cedar Board, and therefore, it's a two-step process. So as of today, the Cedar Board has not reached out to us to say they want to sell the property or
Right.
anything. So all we're doing is putting in place the ability, if that becomes a decision, that there's no impediment in order to having that done. So that's all this is.
That's all it is, Mr. Chairman. I think you've encapsulated it very nicely. And
Yeah.
because the final decision needs to be made in the next few weeks, the next town meeting isn't until April, and in the golf season, they're not gonna wait another year,
Understand.
for the town.
Any other questions? I would ask for a motion, a favorable action.
We don't have to make a motion on this at all, right?
Yes, we do. We
This
do it
goes
anyways.
on automatically.
Yeah, but we do
Well,
it.
it
we're
goes
now-
on, but this is favorable action, our
This is-
opinion of it.
This is the
Right.
next piece.
We're doing
Well-
the
You know
next piece.
your favorite favorable action votes?
Well, I thought we were changing that this year, first off.
Well, but we
Well, most
can't
of them
because.
are already done if you
it's-
change
We
it.
already did some of them.
Right, well, I don't know why I thought we had already talked about making these votes proper instead of making them so confusing. We either voted up or down, either way, like it's supposed to be in Robert's Rules of Order, so it's nice and easy and everybody understands it. These favorable things are ridiculous.
We haven't
And
got
what
the
are we
finance
exactly
committee to change it
voting
yet.
favorable action on here? Putting it on the warrant?
No, it's on the warrant.
on
Your
the
favorable
warrant.
action vote is whether you think this is a good idea or not.
Well,
So a yes vote on a favorable action motion is you support the idea
Support the article,
of,
basically.
of the article. You support the article.
so.
A no vote on
so
favorable
a
action means you don't.
Okay, so you want us to take a vote to approve, basically, the concept of selling the property?
Right, do
to
you agree with it?
Okay, no, okay, all right.
That's not, no, Mr. Chairman, I would say
Hold on.
that's not true at all. I don't care if he wants to sell the property or not. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, see,
This vote,
Is that-
if CETA were to go out, and they've already gone out and gotten appraisals, if CETA decided to sell the land, and if the Board of Selectmen gave that approval, and if a sales agreement were in place, and if this, and if that, and everything else, then this would kick in. Because all this is the town meeting vote that would take place in April. Has nothing to do whether you like the idea or not.
actually,
I'm going to disagree with
This
that.
has nothing to do with
actually, what it
that
is.
sale.
No, it does, because what you're asking town meeting to do is authorize the sale of the property. Is
No,
that
I'm
not
not.
correct, Mr. Bone?
That's not correct.
He's authorizing the Board of Selectmen or CETA to sell the property. Now, wait a minute. All they can do
You
is...
have to read
all
the
they can-
article,
All they
Patrick.
can do is say to us, yes, it's okay to do that. That doesn't mean we have to do that.
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's the way it works.
That's correct.
Yeah, right, and that's exactly right. So we're asking them to authorize the liquidation of that property, basically. With our approval, of
This
course.
doesn't,
Mr.
this doesn't
Bone,
mean
go ahead.
there's going to be a sale.
Right.
Well,
Hold on,
it doesn't...
please.
It's always discretionary once that
Yes,
authority is
correct.
handed from town meeting to the Board of
Just like any
Selectmen.
other
Right.
building.
Everybody hold up, please. Mr. Bone,
Mr. Chairman, I think we're all saying,
same thing.
we're all within that inner ring of the bullseye. I'll just maybe put another dart in it
There we go.
for
Put
you.
Another one right in the middle.
To sell this property, three things would have to happen. CETA would have to recommend to you that it be disposed of. You would have to support that recommendation, and then town meeting would have to authorize the disposal. Now, those things don't have to happen in that precise order.
Right.
What's happening is the third one that I described is what's right here. And if neither CETA nor the Board of Selectmen take an action to advance a sale of this property, then it won't be sold. And then there is one other element that I did leave out, which is procurement under Chapter 30B, Section 16. So a yes vote on this article at town meeting does not mean that the property would be sold, there are still a lot of hurdles that would have to be cleared before it could be sold.
That's correct.
Just to get back to the one thing, the favorable action is something that's been going on for a while that we weren't happy with. We have not made the change yet. We haven't been able to sit down with the finance committee in time frame, because what will happen is they'll be voting favorable action. If we start to change it, we're going to confuse everything. We can at town meeting, if you want to make it simpler, when you have an item that's favorable action and it's a negative vote, you can basically at that point there, as you read it off, saying that the board did not vote favorable action at the
But
time.
that's a contradiction. The whole thing is ridiculous.
I understand, but we are
And I'm
limited to what
telling
we
you,
have now.
After this town meeting,
We have to change it.
it's got to get fixed.
We just-
It's on our agenda, we're going to do it, we got to fix it because it's ridiculous.
We already agree with it.
Yeah, go
We
ahead.
just didn't get it done.
Selectman Titlebaum's telling me ixnay, but, yeah, my suggestion is that you meet with the FinCom over this, and that you adopt the practice of moving to recommend or moving not to recommend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then that's nice and clear.
Very clear.
That's more bolt in the same ring.
Yeah, they've been having the same discussion, and they're just as messed up with it as we are with
Yeah,
it. They
'cause
don't
it's
like it
too
at all.
confusing.
It doesn't make sense. I don't disagree. All right, so we have a motion on the floor for favorable action. No other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
Abstained? 410, sorry. That's it for citizens' participation articles for today. We have one left, basically.
Okay, that's it, right? Next up is discussion of fall town meeting articles. Continued discussion.
Let's try and get,
What do you got?
Yeah, let's get,
What's your
we got
pleasure?
Mr. Pina here. We have Dave Menard here,
what are
I think. That's a CPC article, so why don't we do the two for Sal first, which is 13 and 14, to be very quick and easy. And then we can go on to CPC.
Well,
and
13
No.
is the Title V septic
it's
program.
not
Yeah, but it's
13.
under Sal.
It's under Sal, it's under the Board of Health.
No, that's under CETA. We operate that program.
Did you move it to there? It's
No.
always been operated under the Board
No,
of
I
Health.
think it's a different program.
No,
I think,
we've operated it since I've been here.
Wow, this is the only town that doesn't operate it under the Board of Health.
I think originally it was operated through the Board of
It's
Health.
always been
but-
that way, yeah.
But for some reason that I'm not sure of in the history, it got changed over to CETA.
Is that okay? By statute? Okay. All right, no problem. Thank you.
We should reject it and move it back.
Mr. Bowen?
The town, apparently in the spirit of belt and suspenders, has two of these programs, one run by CETA and one by the Board of Health.
Yes.
I think it's Articles 13 and 14.
14, yeah.
So,
Okay.
Sal, you want to explain the article?
Yeah, actually, they're both run by us, Articles 13 and 14. So both of them are run by us. Here's the deal. We are currently in round 7 of the bonds for these, for the septic program. So we provide loans to residents so that they can either connect to the septic system or they can have theirs replaced. Round 7 that we're currently in, we have had 30 participants in that round, and we have currently spent about $146,000 that we have committed through those 30 individuals. That leaves us with about $48,000 remaining. So what we're asking for is permission to seek another bond, which would be round 8, another $200,000 bond to continue the program. And the title, the Article 13, which is the interest, is an article that we usually put on, we're required to put on annually, which basically says that we can spend the interest to help us in any manner to operate the program.
Like a housekeeping article.
Yeah, no problem.
Any questions, Mr. Titlebaum?
None.
Whiteside?
No, thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
I move we approve, we vote favorable action on Articles 13 and 14.
Second.
13 and 14?
13
Yes.
and 14.
Okay.
They're the same thing. One's the interest, one's the program.
Right, that's correct.
Any questions? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Thank you, Sal. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you, and I appreciate you getting me up early here. Thank you so much.
If you call this early.
Not early.
I know. Next? What do you want to do now? CPC?
We can do CEC. They give a single article here, and Susan can go home, and then we can do
All right.
CPC articles, which
All right.
cover a bunch of other departments as well.
Susan, come on down. What number's that article? What number's that article? Where's
CEC article is-
CEC, where is it? 21.
Mrs. Sohn has been before us before explaining it originally when we had to put it on the ballot. Does the board want her to explain again, or the board have any questions?
Oh,
Mr. Titlebaum?
I'm going to vote no on this, only because I believe that the amount in question should be the $48,000 average. I think that, I don't believe that there was a sufficient basis given to the board for the 60 that was requested, and that I believe is what's in the article presently. But that's my sole concern of note.
Mrs. Whiteside?
I am not supporting this article. I think that was pretty apparent from the discussion that we had before. This committee was formed in 2007. I watched the tapes. There was another committee prior to this that funded all sorts of things. This is a town that is broke, technically or structurally. This is a committee that gives away tax dollars for really fun and games, and I can't. I just plain can't do it. There are people who are losing their houses. If we want to have 4th of July, do a boot collection on the 3 entries to what onset. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that we are supporting with tax dollars things that may or may not bring revenue. Sorry.
Mr. Holmes?
You know, I think it's a benefit to the businesses in town. I don't think it's a large amount of money. I don't think it's going to save anybody's job. Oh, if we don't do it. But I think that it really does help. The events bring people bring money, and they spend their own money here at these events, and that's how we make money. If we start shutting down events because maybe they can't afford to put them on, I know people on this board have said before, tough luck to you, but, you know, if the only way you think you're going to get money is a 2.5 override, it's not going to happen. You turn down all these things every week that bring money into town. It's not about a big shot here. A big shot doesn't save Wareham. You have to take these little shots and the little bullets and the little successes, because you'll never get a big one. It's not going to happen. They just told you that again. So I think that, you know, the committee, I don't know if they'll make that kind of money yet, but I still support the committee. I support, you know, Mr. Jim Potter. I still support his theory behind the group, and I think that as we shape the future, maybe we take the money, and I have some different recommendations on how to use the money within the group, but that's something I'll go to one of their meetings and talk to them about. So I'll continue to support you. Okay.
Mr. Tropiano?
I don't think I have to make it any clearer what I think. We have no money. I can't see spending money for this kind of thing. I've got employees that are going to lose their jobs, and this is just the beginning. You know, next year is going to be worse, and the year after that, it's going to be awful. And I just can't take money from one thing to another out of our pockets and put it somewhere else. I just can't. Sorry.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. And I'd like to champion this program because this was specifically set up to promote tourism. We get excise tax that, you know, was returned back from the state, and I think that's where it's missing. It's not money that's being taken out of the pockets of the taxpayers. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize. I've had a lot of volunteers call me and talk to me and stop me on the street since they saw what was in the paper, and they said, what are they doing to us? We're volunteers. We've given our blood, sweat, and tears since 2007. And I think it's almost like they got a slap in the face from rolling up their sleeves and helping promote tourism. They weren't getting paid. There was not one paid person. And we followed the guidelines. We went one step further when we knew the town was broke. And we went forward and we funded the first 2 parking kiosks to generate income because we had no income. So we did something we thought was good, and then we got what I perceive as a slap in the face. Sorry, you did something to try to bring some more in, and then you didn't. So we wouldn't have that $130,000 if we didn't start generating that. And a lot of the volunteers, I went out and I looked at different towns as a volunteer. Nobody on any of these committees are paid. They're all volunteers. And I had somebody that was involved with the fireworks for years, and they said, the convenience stores, the liquor stores, the gas stations do their biggest business anytime there's an event in the town of Wareham, anytime. And they're almost at the point where they're saying, where is the support we're getting? You cannot use this money for jobs. It wasn't set up that way. It wasn't set up that way. The excise tax, how many businesses, the excise tax was collected for that reason, to bring it back to the town. So I'm disappointed, really. Maybe there could be a change in the amount, but don't cut these programs off at the knees. We followed the instructions. We followed the instructions by the Board of Selectmen. We said, what do you want us to do? We reduced the percentage. We reduced the amount. We reduced everything, and still, nobody wants to work with us.
Mrs. Whiteside.
This committee actually superseded another one that had been around for 15 or 20 years.
I was involved with that also.
I'm speaking. You are not, by definition. Okay? You had your say. Now I will have mine.
Wow.
Prior to this particular one, which was passed in 2007, there were several other events that were sponsored by the committee prior to your CEC. They included, and I gave you the list 2 or 3 weeks ago, a Christmas parade, which we heard about today, other parades, Memorial Day parade, Veterans Day parade. There was a Christmas parade with Santa Claus who came out of the sky in a helicopter. There were several other things that were in fact funded prior to the event of this. I have no quarrel with what was requested. I have no quarrel with how the money has been spent. What I do have a problem with is that, technically speaking, we are structurally, financially deficit broke. It's like having no money in the checkbook. If this, in fact, if Function A brings lots of money to liquor stores and pizza parlors, then they should be supporting these events. I would guess that the people who live in Onset, who can't get to their homes on the 4th of July, probably, may not have a problem with it. They may have a problem with it. Other towns did not have fireworks this year, including some of our neighboring towns, because there was not enough money. People are making choices about spending. In 2007, it was a different fiscal atmosphere. Today, we are responsible for fulfilling the letter of the law, period.
Mr. Holmes?
Yeah. I was just gonna tell you, you don't need to listen and take offense to what these folks are saying, and I don't want you to do that, because really they have no say in the matter. This is a town meeting article. When we go to town meeting, the Board of Selectmen is not even in session. These 5 members, if as long as they're registered voters, they're gonna raise their cards and up and down just like you do. So that's all this is about. This is a little show for town meeting. You need to, as I tell others, you need to prepare yourself to discuss the article, right? And talk about the benefits, so that the folks who raise that yellow card up and down are going to raise it when they say yes, right? Don't worry about being hurt by what Patrick or I say or Alan says. Don't worry about that. This is just a little show here, right? What really counts is that night when you have to get up at town meeting, and they're all going to get up and do the same thing they're doing here, maybe a little more spectacular because the crowd is bigger. But you have to get up and present your article, and then present the positive points and why you think it would be good for the town and continue to be good for the town. But don't get personal over this. Don't do that. I detect you were doing that. Just don't do that, because that's not real. You know what I mean? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
I just want to make a simple comment on all this. The intent back when James put the article together was he had a movie company, they were doing stuff, they needed help in other events in onset. Town meeting did vote for it. The Community Events Committee has no fault in that the article was defective in its writing, and therefore the funding only went for 1 year. Town meeting voted for it under the assumption that it was an ongoing event, whatever. Town meeting has the right to, obviously, if they want to have an article to come in, to remove any special act as well. In this particular case here, what's coming back to us is something that was basically to fix basically an error at the end of the day. Yes, we have very little money. Yes, it's a real issue. But at the same time, it is generating some money. And town meeting is the one that's going to make a decision on this, not really this board. I'm working with the CEC. We made a lot of changes back and forth. We talked about who we're going to fund and how, and there's a lot of other things. So how I vote really is irrelevant. It's how the actual town meeting votes. I understand what everybody's saying, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't even have this thing in front of us if the article had been written correctly. It would be just if someone didn't want to do it, whether it be an article to remove it.
I was just hoping to be clear, to let people know, how this was set up. It wasn't my intention, to get, a back and forth. I just wanted to try to let people know, because you can't know everything about every committee. And we have some very good volunteers, and so
I'm sure your volunteers are wonderful. I went back and I watched the 2 hours of discussion on the tape and took notes. It was seed money for all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And seed money means that you invest, and maybe you invest again, maybe you have to invest the 3rd year, but you get these groups and things to move on. And I think that's really my biggest problem with it, is that some of the things that were mentioned in the article haven't been funded by your committee at all, and that the intent to provide seed money to help these things grow, to grow the community, has not in fact been followed through on. And that's by watching and listening to the 2 hours of tape.
Mr. Tropiano.
Yeah, yeah. The intent of the articles when it was written originally was what she's saying is seed money, because technically you guys were supposed to raise money as well to make it all work, and no money's ever been raised except for the money that's been given, more or less. Okay, there's been a few things with I believe with the fireworks themselves, but basically the fact that hasn't happened. And I want to make clear, this is not a personal attack on you at all or your committee. I love folks who volunteer. I can't have enough admiration for people like yourself who come forward and do these kinds of things. I can't. All right? I know what it's like. And I also know when you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, they're voting against me. It's kind of feels bad. You know, it makes you feel personally like somebody's jumping, you know, we did all this work. But I just have a fundamental principle with what's going on in the town financially, that I just feel that it's not the right time to take that extra money and put it into these programs when we literally have people whose jobs are ending, and there's no money for it. We're short money in the police department. We're short people in town hall. We're short people. Municipal maintenance, he's back there. He's working with what, 9 guys now? Seven men. You know, there used to be 54. There's now 53. All right. Call me a liar for one guy. But 53 guys, and now there's 7. You know, it's been slowly going down, slowly dwindling, slowly. And so at this point, I just can't see doing it. I'm sorry. And I really do love you guys, and I appreciate what you do.
I'd like to clarify something, though. Mrs. Whiteside made a very good point. This was seed money initially, but what happened is, though the Wareham Village Association, who has many committees, and the Onset Bay Association, which has many committees, when they got their, what we considered seed money, they were only doing 1 or 2 events. But because they were able to take some of the money that they raised, they added on events. So it was, they were matching their funds, and they were doing that. And we told them that this was the way to do, you know, this was the only way to do it, because we could only do certain things. They had to have fundraisers, they had to have yard sales, they had to have car washes. We did support the parades and the Polar Express, and, you know, a lot of those. And I think we didn't give a big report about, look at how great we are, and this is what we did. We had maybe 2 events, and all of a sudden we have now 15 or 16. And that's what the general public who are involved, they are kind of familiar with it. But for the most part, that's, you know.
I thought your report that you gave us when you were here before, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, was that the records that you gave to us, I think there were 15 or 16 per
Right.
year, and one year there was 18.
Right.
So the average was like 15 and, you know, and change or something. Again, I don't have a problem with what you do. I have a problem with what you do it with, which is money that should be diverted. But I'm going to move the question, whether that's proper or not, because we've been talking about this, you know, for really too long. What you need to do is what we told you to do 2 or 3 weeks ago. Build a case and be prepared for town meeting. That's really what I would urge you to do, because I think you have a good argument.
I just want to make one more point to everybody, and then we can move the question. The article, as is prepared, has a January 1st, 2015 date. I believe it was supposed to be July 1st, 2015.
That's what that was one of my questions.
I believe there was
Is
a
it a typo?
It was a typo, I
Right,
believe.
because what we were told that we would have to do as our committee, it was,
We can change the town meeting floor.
Can we change the date, Richard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's all the paperwork. Yes.
Just as long as it's not a problem.
So my understanding is that Mr. Titlebaum may, at town meeting, want to change the dollar amount. I'll probably get up and make a motion to change the date, just so everybody understands. July 1st. The reason for it, just so people understand, with a date of January 1st, it affects the town budget, which is already going to be in place.
Well, but he said you can change it in the motion.
Right, the motions have not yet been drafted.
So we need to change it in the motion.
When you draft the motion, you can fix it.
Perhaps the town council can make a note with that when the drafting committee gets together.
when this program first got underway, it was January 1st, but then after a couple of years, they asked us if we would change it to the fiscal year. It would work easier with the budget, and we agreed to do it. We were trying to agree for everything, everything.
Okay, I think we've discussed enough. Motion for favorable action, please, Mr. Tropiano.
So moved.
Make a motion for favorable action.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Titlebaum. Any more questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstained? 2-3-0.
Okey dokey. Yes, what else we got?
28's the magic number.
All right. What else you got?
We want to go into the CPA article?
CPA. CPC?
Yeah, I think starts with number 22.
Yep.
No, it's 22.
That's all this is. Oh, just, yeah. I hope not.
We're discussing out of order.
Yeah, really.
Article 22, Ted.
Yep.
No.
All right, you
Board-
ready?
Go ahead.
Reserve increase, okay, yeah, number
22.
22. I would move favorable action on 22, reserve increase.
Standard housekeeping article. Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Any questions of the board?
None.
Nope.
None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500.
I move favorable action on the reserve increase, article number 23.
Second.
Any questions of the board?
Nope.
None heard, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
And Old Methodist Meeting House restoration, I move favorable action.
Hold off on that, please. I
Okay.
have, just give me a minute here. I have to remove myself for a minute. I'm the director of this.
Okay, well, let's do Ag 1 then. Let- Yes, he does.
All right, fine. No, we'll just do it. All right, so, go ahead.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor, aye. Okay. All right, so I move, go ahead, you want to make a motion for me on Article 24, please? Clerk?
Sure, favorable action on Article 24.
Okay, it's favorable
As
action,
as
motion
written.
made, seconded. Any question, anybody have anything to say? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining? Okay,
Okay,
so it's 3-1-0.
No,
Which,
well, he's
3-1-0.
310 because he's not in the
here.
room.
No, he's out of the room. So
He's not
3-1-0.
here.
There's
Yeah.
only four of us sitting here.
310?
Right. No, he doesn't abstain. He doesn't do
No, the
anything.
record will show that
He's only
Now
abstained when he
he
sits
comes
here.
back in, right.
Right, but the record will show that Mr. Slavin was absent from the room
Correct.
during this vote.
That's correct.
This was 310?
Yep.
3-1-0. Okay, Agawam Village Rehab, Unit 5, I move favorable action.
Second.
Number 25. Go ahead.
Any questions of the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we already talked about these a million times. Yeah. All right, American Legion Hall restoration, I move favorable action.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Questions of the board? Mr. Titlebaum? Mrs. Whiteside?
No.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Tropiano?
No.
Call for a vote. Favorable action, all those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstain?
so 4-1-0.
1-0.
All right, Tweedy and Bonds Preserve, what the
No,
hell?
27.
Parker Mills, 27.
27.
Oh, Parker Mills, sorry. Number 27, I move favorable action on Parker Mills.
Second.
And by the way, we have some very bad information about Parker Mills, so we better vote on this one.
I said second.
Motion by Mr.
This is
Tropiano.
the,
You don't want to see it.
about the condition. This is the condition report, and it's very bad, so. All right, so motion made.
And seconded.
Any questions of the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 5-0-0.
All right, Tweedy and Barnes.
It connects with the Westgate thing.
What the hell is Tweedy and Barnes?
It's a cranberry grower. It's next to the Westgate.
And what the hell are we doing
I
over
did.
there?
I would suggest that Mrs. Dunham, would you want to give us a quick explanation?
Yeah, I need to have some explanation about that one.
This
Right
is
here.
basically the same, gentleman and Mrs. Whiteside, this is basically the same. The only additions you see here, and I'm sorry I don't have it marked in red in yours, but it's only adding the information about the conservation restriction. It's the same article, it's not changing the concept or the text of it, simply adding
the conservation restriction language.
Well, what is-
Mr., sorry. It's already, yes, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you with a blank face.
Mr. Bowen, would
Mr.
you
Bowen
like
has
to?
already looked at this.
Go ahead, Mr. Bowen.
Sorry, no offense meant.
So, my apologies, Angie. What was the addition?
The
Yep.
addition on that, let's see, the third line down on the article, in the center of it, it says not to exceed,
Mhm.
and the amount. And then on the next to last line, where it says 68 Lot 1B, then the additional was added, and accept a conservation restriction thereon granted to the Town Conservation Commission. And then that's the same thing again in the motion. And then at the bottom,
Oh, I see.
the explanation, the owner of the property, the name, the words "will be" was added. And then at the very bottom, the last 4 lines, application has been made to the Mass Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs for a conservation partnership grant of $72,500. The amount to be transferred from the Wareham Community Preservation Fund in accordance with this article will be reduced by any successful award from this grant request. That was the addition from Land Trust Council.
That's fine.
Okay.
Any questions of the board? None heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Actually, did we make a motion already or not?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Motion was by Mr. Tropiano. Who was the second? Sorry.
Me, I think.
Mrs. Whiteside. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
I move favorable action on Article 29, Playground Rehab Rehabilitation Fund.
Second.
Any questions of the board?
No.
None heard. All favorable action.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
I move favorable action on the Tremont Nail Bryant Farm debt. These are for the payment debts
Second.
on those loans.
Any questions of the board? Mr. Tropiano made the motion. Mrs. Whiteside second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
Okay, that's it for community preservation.
That's the easiest you ever got out of here.
I guess so.
You gotta get
Have a
out of
wonderful
here, run.
evening.
Yeah. I'm going to.
Have a wonderful evening.
Well,
Thank you for preparing us way ahead of time.
You're welcome. I do have one quick comment to make. The CP3, you're all familiar with CP3 form that has to be filled out and sent to the state? It's done. We're registered, we're set, just to
Thank you.
tell you. That has to be done by a deadline or no money.
All right,
Taken
good.
care of, okay?
You know you'll be on that committee forever.
No comment.
Steve drinks.
All right,
now
what do you wanna
she's
do
running.
next?
Now I'm gonna run.
What do you wanna do next?
Let's go to Article 8.
Article 8, rescind Article 5?
Yep.
We're not rescinding that article though, right? That's not exactly what we're doing. We already spent some of that money, we're just not spending the rest of it. So we don't rescind the article.
No, it says to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. Article 8, sorry.
Article
See
8,
if the town will vote to amend the action taken
right,
by rescinding the authority to borrow, is what
right.
it says.
Well, oh, yeah, I guess.
Everybody, please.
I
Take it
guess we're
outside.
rescinding the right to borrow, I guess, okay. We can close it out, but all right, whatever. That's what you want to do.
Any questions
All
by the
right.
board?
I move favorable action on Article 8.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Any questions? All those in favor of
Aye.
favorable action?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Article 9.
Article 9, Swiss Beach, rededication for open space and recreation. I move favorable action.
Second.
Favorable action by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
400.
That was strange.
Mrs. Whiteside left the room.
She had to go,
Oh.
John or something.
Amend the Wareham Wetland Bylaw, Section
Have we
17.
This is what came up the other night. This is what that gentleman was here for, Mr. Chairman. This is on the updating the bylaw for the American with Disabilities Act.
Yeah, that's all this is about. This isn't about anything else.
Right.
Move favorable action on Article 10.
Second.
Shouldn't we be waiting for all five of us to be here? That was the whole point of not voting on the stuff last week.
We can wait for a minute.
No, she's,
Well-
I'm sure she's fine with
I think it's this one here we should wait.
it. Yeah?
Well,
I think we should have waited on all of them.
I mean, she
Yeah.
didn't leave
I
for
don't
the
know why we
night,
held the
did she?
last
Coming
vote.
right back.
No,
We can
she's
just
fine.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way
I
we
mean,
have.
these are articles the board put on. So I think the
Yeah.
board-
We can
everybody
skip to
should weigh in.
something else if you want to do something else,
See
real
what we got
quick,
here. Hold on.
while she's out there.
Well, we have one for guys not here.
You pay Mr. Bowen.
State mandated measure, number 20.
No, you don't want to have all five on all of them.
State mandated measure.
I think we had on a hold on that from Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason there's a hold is until we have free cash
We
certified.
don't know what it is.
Right, and I mean,
And we're
free
not gonna have
cash,
free cash, so I would ask for a vote of no action on this one for now.
you wouldn't have free cash certified till right before town
Wait
meeting.
a minute. Where are we getting this no action thing from? I thought we just had favorable action, yes or no. Where all of a sudden we come up with no action?
When we have.
Just when we don't want to do anything.
I love it. I love it. This is so messed up, it's crazy.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, or no
Yeah,
thumb?
yeah,
This
yeah.
is the no thumb vote.
Or no vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine, all right.
This is a hold till we have more information.
Wow, I'm telling you.
It's called
Okay.
fisting the article.
The other way is no different.
All right, so I vote no action on, I move no action
Second.
on, I lost the article number,
20.
20.
Any questions?
No.
None heard? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
Well, she's back now. That's a five.
All right,
She
now,
doesn't need to listen to info.
number 10, I vote
It's okay.
favorable action on Article 10, which is that piece to fix the
Second.
wetlands
I'd like to
bylaw
go,
with
I'd like to
the
go back
ADA.
to Article 9 on Swift Speech and pull the vote and do it over.
Why?
So we're all five are here.
Pull my yes vote.
It's okay. It's-
No.
These were put on by the selectmen themselves, so I think we should all,
Okay.
that's why I
All
put them
right,
on for
Patrick,
tonight.
just do number 9 again.
Ask you to pull your motion.
I move to rescind the
Second.
vote on Article 9.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Go ahead.
Okay, I move favorable action on Article 9.
Second.
Any questions? None heard? All those in favor?
Aye.
500.
Aye.
Got it.
10.
10, I move favorable action on Article 10.
Second.
Any questions on Article 10? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Article 11.
I move favorable action on Article 11.
Second.
Any questions? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
What about number 7?
Number 7 is going to be
Not
Guy
yet,
next week.
we'll have that one at Sewer Week.
And we have,
And Derek is on.
15 is a sewer week.
About 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 is Sewer
We
Week.
just
20
had
we
the
just voted no
500
action.
on 23,
Thank
right?
you.
How about replace the inclined wheelchair lift at
we're waiting, we'll be on the 7th. Mike Millen from the school will be in on the
Okay, so
7th.
all these school one will come together, right?
Correct.
31.
All right.
31, 32, 33.
And the street layout on Bayshant, we...
She'll be here on the 7th, but most likely it'll be a no action vote because they
Okay.
probably won't have their paper ready.
Okay, so that's it.
Well, and
So what were we doing with
Cedars
the
to
school?
convey the land,
School.
amend, whatever.
Oh,
Okay. All right,
works for me.
Thank you all.
all right, so that takes care of that.
I'd like to thank everybody
Next
for
up.
the extra work as well on this.
Town of Bourne usage fees, first quarter. Next up. I move that we commit for sewage usage fees to be collected from the town of Bourne for the period of July 1, 2014 to September 30th, 2014, in the amount of $43,871.48.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Any questions of the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500.
Any other business not reasonably in 48 hours?
Got
We are
the-
not going to do the, we're not doing that tonight. Mr. White asked us to postpone that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing that, right. Any other town business, Mr. Titlebaum?
No business.
Ms. Whiteside?
It's a comment, I think, and,
Well,
well, it is town business. In 1971, the town meeting passed a resolution to make sure that in each annual town report, there was an addendum for any and all town takings, including roads, playgrounds, etc. And the motion, which was passed unanimously, stated that the takings and the Plymouth County Registry information would be part of the addendum made to the town meeting in the town report. Subsequent to that 1971 resolution, which was passed unanimously, that was actually done once. I would like to suggest that we actually do have that information available, because the issue that I'm researching right now means that that would have been really helpful.
So we have another issue that we've delved into and found more problems. Thank you.
Are you asking to put that on a future agenda?
No, it's actually on, Mrs. Whiteside is working on the private and public roads, and
Okay.
she's running into peeling the onion back and finding more problems.
All right. Let's see, Ms. Whiteside, Mr. Holmes?
None, thank you.
Myself, no. You nothing, young man?
That's enough tonight. I'm
Okay.
getting tired.
All right, so Town Administrator, do you have anything to add on the 24 hours? Okay, then you're up.
I would like to congratulate Miss Paula Ewan on retiring after an amazing run. We promised we wouldn't put the years in there. So truly, she served the community with pride and in an excellent manner, and really represented what it means to be a town employee. And we appreciate all her hard work for the few years that she was here.
Yeah, we gave her a plaque last week in her office with the rest of the treasurer's office there, but we had a little glitch with the dates, so we just redid it.
Yeah, we had her retired a year early.
Yeah, she didn't know she worked for free for the last year.
Yeah.
Today I attended a meeting in the town of Dartmouth for municipal energy efficiency. It was very interesting to hear what our neighbors are doing. I was also very happy to hear that NSTAR is still committed to offering us additional LED light incentives. And it looks like we're going to try and set up a meeting next week to see how we achieve additional energy savings. There's a couple of little roadblocks, but hopefully we can get those out of the way. I have the August expense report. We had the July as well, but it's, might as well flip to August at this point. One of the changes you'll just see, yes, I did spend money on the color, and it just highlights, the outliers are in red. Anything that's above the 16.7%, everything else that's green, it's well within line. There was nothing really that stands out. If you remember at the beginning of the year, we pay a lot of our bills that are the yearly charges, especially in the MIS and the data processing departments.
I would ask the board to, when they get their copies tonight, to take it with them, and we'll put it on the agenda for next week. Just any questions for the town administrator? Thank you. Sorry.
I want to thank you for the promptness of the information.
After that, we've asked to keep short and sweet, otherwise I can drone on. So.
All right, liaison reports, Mr. Titlebaum.
None.
None. Ms. Whiteside.
Well, yes, I don't know how I'm going to fiddle this one in, but I did read in the paper that New Bedford City Council has gone green, and that all of the councilors are going to be using tablets. They're going to have a smart board, and that they are not going to have any more paper floating around, and they think it's going to save them 100,000 pieces of paper and something else. I can't remember what it was, but I certainly think that it would be, I know it's spending money, but I think it's a really good target for us to aim for.
Those are cheap, It's a cheap way to go. Yeah. It's a way cheap way to go. All right, I have nothing. Mr. Holmes, anything under liaison reports?
No, I apologize to the town administrator. Certain things just can't be helped.
Okay, and nothing for me, so it's up to you.
Okay. We had, as Mr. Sullivan mentioned, we went today to Dartmouth to talk about some issues and things with the state, with DOER and stuff. So the our solar projects and other things. They're going to be working with us to help us remediate some issues we have, which is going to be very helpful. And at the level with N-Star and National Grid, there's more savings available. We also, on Monday night, I went to Boston to the 15th anniversary of the Dukakis Center at Northeastern University. We were invited to go basically because of the EdStat program that Bridgewater State and A.D. Makepeace were paying for the town to have a full economic development study done. I was there talking with Barry Bluestone, met with Michael Dukakis to say hello. It's an old neighbor from Brookline, actually. And it was an interesting meeting. And
That's your problem.
that's my problem, yeah, I know that. And basically, the program, we hopefully will have an announcement and have them come down here and do a full presentation within the next 30 days or so, possibly 45. We'll see what they say. And it should be quite helpful. That's about it for me.
All right, next up. on the
Mr. Titlebaum has just remembered something.
Yeah, something just, last evening I attended the parking presentation
Yes.
that was acquired by CETA funds, the Nelson Nygaard one. This is for Wareham Village, for downtown. It's a fairly comprehensive presentation. There are a lot of people there, a lot of people who are concerned about any potential changes down there. What was interesting was that they found that the situation in downtown Wareham is nothing like the situation in Onset that led this board and the road commissioners to get involved in making some changes in Onset for the benefit of the residents and also to try to generate some funds. On average, you're not seeing even 30% of the parking spaces down there being utilized.
Wareham Center?
Wareham Center, yes. So there isn't a lot of impetus, I don't think, really, to undertake any radical change down there. A lot of the people in attendance were quite concerned that there would be some radical change down there. The consultants presented some similar plans to what we saw last year when we were looking at the rain garden designs, only the water, the runoff mitigation portion wasn't part of it, but some of the layouts were similar. And as I said to the people there, when they started to, seem very concerned about what they thought might be impending changes, a lot of what was discussed was in the context of Wareham Center when I was a 5-year-old, when there was a movie theater, when you had multiple drugstores, when you had a 5 and dime, when it was the commercial center of town, when there was no North Dartmouth Mall, when there was no Wareham Crossing, where if you wanted to buy it, you went to Wareham Center, because that's all there was. It even predated Cranberry Plaza when I was a little kid. So in order for any of these plans to really come to fruition, we'd have to get back to that level of economic activity. I don't really expect to see that in my lifetime, although it would be nice if we did. So I would just caution everybody, don't jump to any conclusions. There's going to be nothing crazy going on down there. So just, read the report, think about some of the ideas, think about what you'd like to say about them, but don't panic.
Thank you. Any other questions? All set? Next. Mr. Tropiano.
You're almost set. Okay, that's it. Next up, minutes I move that we approve the minutes for September the 16th, 2014. I was so here. These are executive session. These are the minutes.
No, these are last week's minutes. Patrick.
September the 16th, 2014.
You've got something old there.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
old.
have the 16th, Patrick.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got it here, and I'm just asking you to approve them, so.
We did it last week.
Yeah.
What? I just signed them, so.
That's all you had to do is sign it.
All right, fine.
But you did the minutes.
All right, next, I move you approve the minutes of September the 23rd, 2014.
You can't do that, you weren't here.
I can make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions, any corrections? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
3-0-2.
I move we approve the executive session minutes from September the 23rd, 2014.
And hold.
And hold.
And
And
hold.
hold.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any corrections, additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Aye.
302.
All right, that's it. Next up is, well, we don't have to do this one.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, right, okay.
You want to go home?
He won't let me go home. I move we approve the billing of Attorney Richard Bowen for $15,000 for services performed between 8:21 and 9:20.
Second.
Also, why don't you read in the number of hours?
Huh?
Read in the number of hours.
Oh,
Mrs.
the
White
number
said
of
that's-
hours that you
Yeah.
put in that time period?
Yes.
I might as well.
125.1.
Just
Could
so
be
whatever.
embarrassing.
The number of hours are 125.1.
It's the Whiteside Memorial line item.
Well,
Yes, it is.
it shows that it's a good investment, and it's cheap.
I move we adjourn.
So-
Does that
We have
include
to vote for
Mr.
pay the bill
Witten's
first.
hours?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500.
Oh,
Does that
Patrick just tried to
include
stiff you
Mr.
15 grand. That's
Witten's
pretty good, huh?
hours?
Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
does that include John's hours too? Is that the office manager?
No, that
That's
doesn't,
off, but you can answer
Yeah,
because
that
they-
doesn't
they're
include
not
John's
paying
hours.
attention.